Hey guys, welcome back, and today I'll be continuing What If the Z Fighters Trained with Goku. Now, I just want to get some things out there quickly. First of all, I'm sorry for the long break, had a lot of work to do, so it's been sort of hard for me to do the voice, edit it, and then put it all together. However, I had the script ready, so this is legit just going to take. When you see this, I probably had just finished the editing and put it there. Now, another thing I want to apologise is about continue to consistently keep doing the same what if. I have got some other what if ideas down, which I think could be interesting, but I have an idea on how I want to release what ifs. I want to release them all around at the same saga. So, say one of my what ifs was, what if Goku didn't have hair? Which isn't, by the way, it's just an example. I would release that at the start and then work my way up. So I would hold this one until it got to the Saiyan saga, and then I'd keep them at the same pace constantly. Now, anyway, I'll give a quick recap of what happened last time, and then we'll continue with the story. After Raditz arrives on Earth and starts talking to his brother, before he can really take an aggressive route, he realizes he needs to take a bit more of a passive route, as the three Z fighters there could take down Raditz if they worked together with relative ease. So he decides to talk to his brother and his friend and try and find an opening to attack. But after sitting down for a while and talking with the group and having a normal conversation with them, he's losing the desire to fight them, at least for now he has. When it's time for Raditz to leave, he's conflicted as he doesn't know what to do. Goku says he should stay so they get to know each other a bit better. Raditz is having an internal struggle, saying that Goku is having an internal struggle, as this is his little brother, but he also has a mission, and if he doesn't complete it, it will make him, the weak. Even though he's already the weakest, they might just kill him for giving up on this mission. But after a few minutes of thinking, Raditz decides he'll stay on Earth for a week. He believes he could get away with staying on Earth for a week. But he says he's going to spend the night at his pod tonight, and we'll meet up with Goku at his house in the morning. Now, when Raditz begins flying towards his pod, Goku says is really looking forward to meeting his brother, but Krillin and Yamcha are a little bit more skeptical, if that makes sense. Like, they're happy for Goku, but when he first showed up, he had evil intent. And the two Earthlings think if Goku's going to meet him in the morning regardless, at his own home, where he's going to let down his guard a lot more, they want to be there just in case. Now, they all head towards Goku's and spend the night. And the next day, Raditz does arrive at Goku's house after a few hours of flying, with the lack of the device on his head. The scouter, they don't really think about it too much, and Raditz had put it away just so Vegeta and Nappa can't really snoop on what's happening. But he doesn't tell Goku and the others that, because he doesn't want to alarm them. Now, when Raditz arrived, Goku had told Chi-Chi about Raditz the night before, and brings Chi-Chi out to meet Raditz. And right from the start, she is not impressed with her brother-in-law. Seeing how he's just a fighter like a husband, but she isn't a rude person, at least I don't think. She bites her tongue and politely introduces herself and welcomes Raditz into their home for some breakfast, and everyone begins chowing down. This is the point where everyone sees that Goku isn't just someone who eats a lot. It's a Saiyan trait to love food. And after the two brothers devouring a bunch of food, they decide they want to talk a little bit and have a little bit of heart-to-heart with each other. Now, they fly away, and Krillin and Yamcha think something bad might happen. So they fly behind them a little bit slow, trying to conceal their power so Goku doesn't pick up on them. Well, the best they can anyway. when Goku and Raditz start talking, it's about his parents and Saiyans. After a while, they decide, no, sorry, and learns about the Saiyans, saying how they were quite vicious, but that their mother was so kind-hearted that she almost didn't belong with the Saiyans. But his dad also had this caring side, which is nice for Goku to hear, knowing that not everyone Saiyan is a brute, knowing that he sort of comes from a caring set of people. And Raditz explains how Saiyans best bond over sparring, and Goku loves the sound of this. He immediately jumps up and gets into a fighting stance, sort of taking Raditz by surprise, but after, Raditz just grins and takes a fighting stance as well. And they begin to fight. It's not fair at all. Raditz is dominating over Goku because he's not really holding back. He sort of wants to insert his dominance, and he also, there's a small part of him telling him if he knocks him out, he can just leave now before anyone questions it and take Goku with him. But obviously, with Krillin and Yamcha nearby, they see this fight happening and see Goku getting absolutely destroyed. Without a second thought, they both fly towards Raditz full power, and from behind Raditz, they begin wailing on him. A quick flurry of attacks sends him to the ground, and they both begin to charge up a big attack to try and wipe Raditz out quickly. But Goku does shout out to them that they were just sparring, and they need to stop what they're doing. And Krillin and Yamcha are a bit confused by this, because they saw Raditz wasn't holding back. But Raditz then says, that's how Saiyans train. I'm trying to help him get stronger. We get stronger from defeat. And then they're both a little embarrassed. Both Yamcha and Krillin are a little embarrassed, but are happy they didn't question to take action. But Raditz is also internally angry, and he's surprised. He's annoyed. He just got bested by Earthlings, even though it was a cheap attack. They still could have beat him if Goku didn't interfere. Now, after seeing this display of power, Raditz does have an idea though. He asked them for the rest of the week he's here, why don't the four of them train? Because he would love to get to know Goku's friends. And Goku instantly loves the idea of this. Training with someone stronger than him. Well, 3 people stronger than him. Everyone there is stronger than Goku in a minute. And Krillin and Yamcha join in because they want to get stronger as well. Because they are martial artists, and, what harm will it do? Now, after a week of training, when they only really stopped to eat and sleep, the powers have grown up quite a lot, to the point where Raditz has gone up to 1,400, Goku has gone up to 800, Yamcha is now 799, and Krillin is 825, with Krillin still being the strongest Z fighter, but Goku has caught up quite a considerable amount. Now, I didn't give them massive increases, but I did give Goku the head over Yamcha, as I believe Zenkais would have helped him a bit more, as he would have tried to get a few more Zenkais and would have got a few more training with stronger people. Now, because of this, I think that is a good little starting point for them. Well, not starting point, but the point to continue on. Anyway, after the week of training, it is time for Raditz to go. They wake up on the last day of his time there, and they have a breakfast to sort of say goodbye. Chi-Chi has sort of got attached to him. However, she also doesn't fully like him, and he was trying to get Gohan to train at some point during it. The Saiyan blood in him. Wanted to see how far it would go if it was a hybrid. But Raditz soon learned why Goku found Chi-Chi as his wife or mate. As she's so strong-willed, she reminds him of a Saiyan warrior, or Saiyan woman even. And he's also found that Gohan isn't that interested in training, but, anyway. Chi-Chi and Gohan do say goodbye to their family member, and the other four take off towards Raditz's pod. And when they arrive at Raditz's pod, they all start talking. Goku and Raditz are talking the most and saying how, oh, this was a great week to get to know each other, and how Goku's going to miss Raditz. And Raditz isn't showing as much affection, but he does still care about his brother. So now, as they're about to leave, Goku does give Raditz a hug, which Raditz finds kind of awkward. He doesn't really know how to respond to it, because let me just get something off my chest quickly. I'm not making Raditz fully good. Not at all, like, after a week, no, not happening. This would be something that takes years, maybe. Raditz is just conflicted, because that is the last remaining family member he has, and it's one of the few people ever, or the first few group of people ever, to treat Raditz with respect. It sort of caught him off guard, and it made him feel quite kind of happy knowing that he's not a lowlife, he can live a normal life, but at the same time he knows he needs to do this mission. He knows he needs to complete it, but he can't pull himself around to taking Goku. So for now, he thinks he'll leave it like this. He might come back later on to try and sort it, but he might not. He's just going to see what he thinks of later on. Now, as he turns around to get into the pod, Krillin, the other three fighters, Yamcha, Krillin, and Goku, sent someone off in the distance. Sent two people. It's actually Tien and Chaozu just sort of surveying what's happening. And they just sort of give them a small wave and nod to sort of say, oh, we'll explain later. As Raditz gets into his pod, he remembers he's left his scouter here for the whole week. Now, little worried that Vegeta and Nappa might find this a bit suspicious. His original plan was sort of to contact them after every night, but he never got around to it. He just fell in love with what was happening and couldn't do it. So he panics. He starts to panic as he's taking off, and he first thinks that they could kill him for this. Like, this could be his last few moments. And after about an hour, he starts thinking of a plan. He's only like 2 hours or so away from Earth, and he starts contacting them. But he does it in like, he tries to muffle his mouth. He then starts saying, hello, Raditz, Nappa, Vegeta, Nappa. And he gets a response. He says, oh, the atmosphere on this planet messed with my scouter, so my signal wasn't coming through, which convinces Nappa quite easily, but Vegeta isn't taking it. He had just heard talking before a couple of hours ago. He was talking with someone. It was only, he could hear it muffled, and it wasn't that loud. It sounded like he was a good distance away, but he definitely heard someone out there with him. And Vegeta instantly jumps to the thought he's starting to rebel against his king. And he's like, we are heading to Earth, and we are going to destroy whatever your plan is, whatever your resistance is to kill us. We are going to stop it. Because I can imagine Vegeta not being paranoid, but angry at him, knowing full well not enough fighters on Earth could help, well, thinking anyway, that there's not enough people he could get to help kill the strongest Saiyan that ever lived, which would be Vegeta in his own mind. So he's just annoyed that he had the audacity to do this to his king, the person he should think is the top dog. But Raditz instantly tries to explain how it wasn't anything like that. And when Vegeta starts getting a bit more aggressive, Raditz thinks on the spot and he folds over and does give them false coordinates to Earth. He hasn't got a lot to work with. He has to come up with false coordinates quite fast. And he just gives them a few planets away coordinates. But you could probably still see like the outline of Earth. But this is enough. It'll slow them down a little bit, as they might spend a day or two looking around Earth. Now, they have begun coming, and Raditz blocks like the signal coming in now. He just doesn't know what to do. He then thinks this is something that's sort of headcanon with me, but I'm going to say it works. I'm going to say that you can record messages on the scouters, and Raditz begins to say a message into the scouter and turns his ship around and drops down on Earth, quickly shooting off a blast, something that will make his key noticeable, and dropping down the scouter. Just leaves it there with nothing else. Maybe he wrote a note in the sand, like dirt, like burnt it out with his key, saying, listen to recording or something. And that's what happens. He then quickly takes off away from Earth and heads towards the planet he gave the fake coordinates to. He's going to spend the next year or so on there. See if he can find a way to slow down Vegeta and Nappa. See if he can convince them this is Earth and that he killed everyone. When Goku, Yamcha, Krillin, Tien and Chaozu as well, who Goku and the other two have just filled in on what happened this last week, noticed this key come back and quickly flew there. Goku was excited, thinking maybe he's decided to stay, but when arriving, they just see his scouter. They pick it up and they don't really know what to do with it, but they know one person they can talk to about this. They fly over to Bulma. Bulma, after a couple of minutes of tinkering with it, gets the recording to play, and this is what Raditz says. Raditz says that there are two Saiyans much stronger than Raditz is coming towards Earth, who aren't going to be as passive as Raditz was. He admits in the beginning he came here with an aggressive intent, but he sort of started liking the few people he got to know, and even though there's a little bit inside of him which knew he needed to complete this mission, he didn't want to. He didn't want to hurt his brother and his family, but he warns them that you need to start training, because if these two catch you and you are too weak, they won't hesitate to kill you. Not a slight chance they won't kill you. Which Raditz tries to say it will take them a year. However, I'm going to try and slow them down for a month. At max, I can get you an extra month. That's all I can do. But he says goodbye to his brother and says, tell my nephew that even though he isn't a fighter, I respect him for being a Saiyan. Now, after this happens, the 5 Z fighters start panicking. They don't really know what to do. Goku's first thought is to head up to Kami, see if he can show them anything, tell them anything, give them any advice. But Krillin and Yamcha already sort of know what the response will be. But optimistically, everyone flies up there. And when Krillin and Yamcha went, the same answer is given. He's taught them everything he can teach these fighters. They are much stronger than him now, and probably much stronger than he'll ever be. But he might have a solution. You're just going to have to give him a few days. So that's what they do. They decide to all camp up on the lookout and spend whatever days it takes, about 2 days worth of training up there, which isn't a lot of extra training, but for Tien and Chaozu it's quite significant because they're going up against stronger opponents. Now, while this is happening, Kami is making a deal with King Yama to let them all come by and go train with King Kai. And even though King Yama at the start refuses, he manages to negotiate King Yama to let 2 fighters up into the other world to come and train. Even though they're not dead, they can just come up there alive. So when Kami comes back with this great news, he has a grin on his face. He's quite happy that he can finally give some help out, and looks at Goku and Krillin, well, not Goku and Krillin, but the group, and says, I've managed to get you guys away to train, but only 2 of you, and I have decided that Krillin and Goku will be going. They are our 2 strongest fighters, and it will be the most beneficial for them to. As Goku loves this idea. Goku is thrilled that he gets to go train, and even better, his training rival is coming with him. He's so excited. And Goku's about ready to go. He's about to fly off and just not question it. However, Krillin's a bit spectacle. That ain't the right word. I can't get this word right, sorry. And says, Goku, you should probably go and tell Chi-Chi that you're leaving for a long time, as if we lose this fight against the Saiyans that come, you won't get a chance. Goku, sort of not understanding why Krillin's saying this, does just fly off. And after about an hour, comes back. And he says he told her. She wasn't too happy about it, but he told her. Now, Goku and Krillin then grab hold of Kami and they get teleported away. Now, the other Z fighters don't really know what to do, as they can't be trained, and they can't really do much like this. It'll only grow them a small amount. And after about a week of this, of planning, trying to think of a way to get stronger in such a short time of a year, something clicks in Yamcha's mind. He remembers something Raditz was talking about a while ago, and instantly turns off and flies towards the direction, with Tien and Chaozu sort of just thinking, he must have an idea, let's follow him. And they all start flying off into the distance. Kami then shouts out, now that the lookout's clear, you can come up now, Piccolo. And Piccolo does come up. He says there's this really awkward moment between them, but Piccolo is much stronger now than he was in canon. He's probably about, let's say, about the low 700s, 725 even, just because he's had to train by himself, but he's really wanted to get stronger, and he's nearly as strong as, the three strongest, which is impressive. And he gets aggressive very fast and tries to figure out and demands for Kami to tell him what's happening, why were they all up here, what's going on, and who was at huge power level. And Kami does explain what's happening, as they know we need more fighters to, defend the Earth if the Saiyans are as strong as that Goku's brother made out for them to be. And Piccolo then very politely says, I will help defend. And this takes Kami off guard instantly. He's confused why Piccolo's being so passive. And then he senses the dark intention inside of him, but shrugs it off for now and just tells Piccolo that if you want to help, we will accept your help with open arms. Go and train with Yamcha and that lot. They are stronger than you now. Well, Yamcha is. So go and train with them, and we will and when the time comes of the Saiyan attack, we expect you to help. That is all we're going to say. And if not, I will personally sacrifice myself to take you down, which sort of shocks Piccolo because it's a bold statement from Kami, and it doesn't sound like something Kami would say. But I think if Kami knows if Piccolo gets too strong and he's really evil, he might just swap teams all of a sudden. So Kami has threatened him with his own life. So now the stakes are kind of high. But that is where I'm going to leave it. I've left it at this point because I'm going to do a smaller part explaining what happens in the year worth of training. It's going to be a couple of minutes. It won't be long. It'll probably be nowhere near this long. But I just needed to say that I really am sorry for having that little break for a while, and the smaller part I'll be doing, I'm probably going to release the day after this one, or 2 days. It won't be long after. But I just gotta say, I really do hope everyone who watched this enjoys it, and I really hope you enjoy the content I'm doing. Even though there's not a lot of you, I do appreciate the few people who do come and check out these videos. You made me sort of smile when I realised it was quite a nice thing. But I hope everyone who watched had a lovely day, and enjoy the rest of your day or the rest of your night. Have a good one, and goodbye.